We are doing another reaction video. If you don't know who I am, I live in Normandy. My name is Paul Woodadge, and I'm a battlefield guide, author, and historian. And today we are having a look at Call of Duty Pointe du Hoc. So it's not about the gameplay, it's not about character development or how the game functions and the playability. It's about historical authenticity and the things I notice as someone who knows this subject a little bit. So let's get us started. Not enough men in the landing craft. And that looks to be an LCVP, an American design, when it was, in fact, LCA, British type and British crewed landing craft at Pointe du Hoc. So, yeah, not enough people. Bottom of the cliffs looks good. I've been there. It's pretty much how it looks. Gunfire's good. Yep, men were indeed thrown into the water and some had to wade ashore. Bottom of the beach looks right. It's a bit more larger, sort of more up and down the beach, but no, that's all right. It's good. Are we actually seeing the rocket-fired grappling hooks going up? In reality, a lot of them didn't make it to the top. The ropes were wet with the seawater, and indeed they fell back down again. Some did, but not many. There's assault tunics or assault jerkins, assault vests. There, that's authentic. Yep, they're going up the cliffs. There was some gunfire from the top. The cliff face looks a bit smooth, but I guess that's the limitations of the programming and the video gameplay. It doesn't feel like the texture of the rock there, but it's okay. Has he got a sniper rifle? He's got a sniper rifle, isn't he? That's a bit silly. I guess it's the choice of the player. Someone told me that you can customize what weapons you have, but if that's a sniper rifle, that's not really authentic. Okay, so climbing up. He's getting up there at a fair old rate, isn't he? We're talking 100 foot plus, 20, 30, 40 pounds of gear. Yeah, you can see the fleet in the background. Feels all right. Now, we got to remember that this had been freshly bombarded by both the Navy and Bomber Command, and so there's craters everywhere. Trenches are okay, yeah. Oh, and it looks like they've got the correct decoy guns. The Germans had moved the actual 155s inland and put wooden decoy guns inside the open emplacements, which they seem to have recreated, although the angle's a bit high. And they would have had camouflage netting over them. That's quite good. The bunker's quite well set up. I have no idea where I'm going in the game. I mean, I guess if you're playing it, you know what you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, and they are the casemates in the background that are under construction. They had built 3 of them. The guns are not in them. The guns are inland. That looks good. Authentic. It's taking some naval hits by the look of it. That's the naval shelling. So far, so good. Oh, he's looking through his sniper scope, I guess. Yeah, well, that's a bit inauthentic, but we can deal with that. Craters, moving from crater to crater undercover. The real situation on D-Day was moving platoons across when you're losing men disappearing into craters. It was hard to coordinate. That's all authentic. Bunkers are the correct 1944 construction of block technique rather than the earlier poured concrete. That's good. That's pretty good. I've walked that area Pointe du Hoc many times. That's just about how it was. Now, in reality, folks, we now know there's barely 20 or 30 Germans at Pointe du Hoc. Because they'd moved the guns inland, they had retreated most of them, deployed them to the rear. There's only really a few at the site. So the gunfight for Pointe du Hoc wasn't anything like as severe as this. If that's a farm building, it's too close to the position. That there were farms. They were a bit further inland than we've come up with. Not sure why there'd be a truck parked there or a destroyed truck. I guess it's just texture and giving cover for the gameplay. There were mines around Pointe du Hoc, but we would have seen barbed wire before we got to mine. This is all right, though. That, I guess, is looking towards Goncourt-Maizy to the west. So if that's the case, there is a village to the west. It's a bit close. It would have been less visible from where we are. And that looks like fir trees in the background there, which is not authentic. So we're already at a farm, which is way too quick. To get to a farm, they'd have to have gone across the road, and I don't remember them going across a road. Hell of a lot of fire going on. Yeah, it's all right. Bay window like that upstairs, wooden frame. Feels kind of like a Normandy farmhouse. It's okay. So far, so good. Yep. Interesting how in the game you have a compass telling you where you are. Of course, in reality, a lot of soldiers, when they start getting involved in combat and moving through hedgerows, you don't know exactly where you are, which way you're facing. It's interesting in the game, you kind of always know which way you're facing, I guess. That's just how it works. Bales of hay. I can't think of any real occasions on D-Day where members of 2nd Battalion Rangers fought through buildings. But, you know, I can forgive that for the point of view of gameplay and what have you. But it's a good point to mention while they're clearing these houses that the mission of the Rangers at Pointe du Hoc is, 1, eliminate the guns because they can fire at Utah and Omaha beaches and cause potential danger there, and 2, secure the road that runs Pointe du Hoc so that eventually Omaha 5th Corps and Utah 7th Corps can be linked up to a single beachhead. And that does come into what I'm going to be saying in a minute. That's the mission of the Rangers. Now, in a video game, obviously your mission is to kill lots of Germans and have lots of fun, but there's a reason I'm saying this, because it comes to a bit we're coming to later on when they get embroiled in something that wouldn't really have happened. Now, this is my thing about video games, oil drums everywhere. Someone said it's just how video games work and they kind of plonk oil drums everywhere, but just annoys me, especially when we know that the German army was short of fuel generally. They don't just have oil drums of gasoline or oil or whatever it's meant to be in it, just lying around in farms. Fuel is at a premium. It's going to be kept in depots to be used by those who need it. But generally, I kind of like this. It's very, very action-packed, isn't it? It's exciting. And me dismissing it because there's too much action is not appreciating what a video game is for and who it's aimed at. I'm here to try and give you an idea of the historical accuracy behind it all. But this is all okay. I think he works his way back to the gun battery soon, which is where it gets interesting. This is all very good, I suppose. Yeah, these kind of feel right, like a Normandy farmhouse. Colouring is quite good. I don't know how often it happens in video games, but I can imagine friendly fire is a massive problem in video gaming if you're playing multiplayer, because everyone moving independently. We've got to remember that in reality, squads, platoons, companies are moving in such a way, or they're trying to move in such a way as to limit running into your own people. It seems that this is a bit of a free-for-all. It's like I played Cowboys and Indians when I was a kid in the back. Everyone just running around outside in the playground with our plastic Tommy guns and bits of stick pretending to be rifles. But that's me being critical again of a video game. It's all about having fun. But while you're having fun, this is my point, you can actually learn a bit about history. Stone walls, good. Orchards, I think that's an orchard there. Very good. I reviewed another video game that had orchards. Normandy is a cider producing region of France, so cider, and then Pommeau, which is the next distilled version, and then Calvados. So lots of orchards. An interesting factoid for you, about 50% of those orchards were destroyed during the war. So after the war, it took a long time to establish these orchards. And weirdly, tastes have gone more towards beer these days. So Normandy doesn't drink anything like as much cider. And that was a German vehicle there, and Calvados as it used to. Still important, but not. It was, how back in the day, farmers had cider almost instead of water. And that was some kind of German vehicle there. I didn't catch a glimpse of what it was. It was a half track. either way, there's not a lot in the way of German armor anywhere near Pointe du Hoc. Yeah, it's a half track, isn't it? So I don't know where that's come from. I guess it's just adding a bit of color. I mean, you might have, in terms of the German commander there might be a Kubelwagen. There might be, trucks, I guess, for bringing supplies up. And near the artillery, when they find that later, there may well have been some kind of vehicles. But I don't think we're going to see a half track anywhere near Pointe du Hoc. American half tracks, within a couple of days, believe it or not, 2nd Battalion Rangers did actually have some half track support later on coming in. You can see photos of that, but not a German half track, not when we are now. So he's using an MP40 now. Now, let's be honest, folks. One of the reasons people don't pick up enemy weapons as frequently in reality as they do in video games and movies is they sound different. So you're in this sort of environment. All these guys know exactly what a Tommy gun sounds like, an M1 rifle sounds like, an MG42, because they've even experienced training with German weapons. So if you hear an MP40 to your left, your instinct is it's a German. So you're endangering yourself by using an MP40 along with your mates, because they're going to hear it and think that's a German with an MP40. In fact, at Pointe du Hoc, when they're defending it towards June the 7th, Rangers were actually using German machine guns to defend Pointe du Hoc, which suggests how badly things have gone. Is you're out of ammo, you are using German weaponry for that problem I've just said of the sound being different and identifying who is who, especially when it's dark. Dead Cattle. I reviewed another game earlier on. That was quite good. Now, they've got the guns now. Now, of the 6 155s that were at Pointe du Hoc, one had definitely been damaged in the bombing earlier in April and had gone to Cherbourg for repair. There's no more than 5 in the hedgerow inland, probably only 3 or 4 operational. They're actually tucked in a sunken lane, camouflaged by a canopy of trees overhead so they couldn't be seen in aerial photos. These guns are in the open. They're in the field. There's no camouflage netting over them. And I'm not sure because we're spinning round and round how many there are there, but there's too many by the look of it. There would have been, there seems to be more than 6 here. But they were in a sunken lane like this. That's kind of the environment they were in, with the canopy of trees moving over the top and then camouflage netting so they couldn't be seen from the air. Hence why the Allies didn't know they were there, although there's that whole story about the fact the French resistance had told the Allies the guns were moved inland, and the Rangers kind of went in anyway. Steve Zaloga's got a new book this year coming out, Pointe du Hoc, where he talks about the intelligence behind when the Allies have thought the guns have been moved. But while I was talking about guns there, did they destroy them? Let's not forget, in fact, I'm going to pause it for a second. Their mission, their number one mission, is to disable these guns. Now, they've just run up to the guns and look at them. I didn't see anybody destroying them or inhibiting them from firing. Now, as we know, in reality, a couple of different groups of Rangers. The famous one is Len Lemel and Jack Coombe, but later there's another Sergeant Rapinski went up there, and they're opening the breeches of the guns, and they're putting thermite grenades in, which burns at 2,000 degrees centigrade, melts into the steel, and makes the gun incapable of chambering a shell. I didn't see the Rangers do that in this gameplay there. So, okay, I understand that missions and objectives in games are different to the missions in reality, but if you haven't at this point disabled the guns, just seeing them in the field and running back again, this is your mission. Get the guns incapable of firing, because if the Germans retake that position and they can get to those guns again and start firing at Utah or Omaha Beach, they can still imperil the landings there. So when we get embroiled in a big battle through bunkers at Pointe du Hoc later on, don't forget, folks, that these Rangers in the game have failed in their objective, in that I did not see them put those guns out of action. Right. That's rant over. The stone walls, small fields surrounded by hedgerows, it is all quite good. It feels kind of Normandy. There is actually a farm just inland from Pointe du Hoc with an archway entrance, a little bit like that. Not quite like that, but similar to that. So that's reasonably well done. Too many tractors, I would say. Don't forget that Germany have occupied Normandy. They're going to take anything that's useful for themselves to use. So in Saint-Mary-Glise, for example, the Germans had kind of taken away the firefighting equipment, leaving the French with an old kind of push-me-pull-you-pulley system to deal with the fire in Saint-Mary-Glise. So tractors are likely to have been used by Germans to tow stuff around on airfields or positions. The French are likely to be working in these fields with more old-fashioned equipment. It's a nitpick, but that's my job. He's Yep, he's definitely dead, that German. I think you can safely say he is dead. You've emptied about 40 rounds into him. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit bored with all this running around this courtyard thing. He gets back to the bunkers soon. So they're heading, yeah, so they're immediately back at the bunkers now. And there's a little detail up here that I think is quite good in that the Germans, because they had a belt of minefields inland before the road, before the battery, there is kind of a gate to go in. And I think they show the gate later on. Some of the barbed wire looks like it could be razor wire, which isn't authentic. It would have been just barbed wire. Here's the gate. Yeah, it would have been something like that. I don't know exactly what it looked like. I don't think we have period photos of what it looked like, but this is vaguely how it was, because the Germans will be going up a main road. They can't be approaching their own position through a minefield. So there is a single avenue of approach, which would have had a gate barrier of some kind. That's okay. Now, remember what I said, folks, about the primary mission of the Rangers being 1, knock out the guns, and 2, hold the road. The thing is, there are Germans maybe inside these bunkers. Who cares? They're not threatening the invasion at this point now. Now, the way the bunkers are set up, they're like a little castle. They've got like levels of fortification, like a medieval castle with a moat and a first wall and a second wall and a bailey and a keep. And they're defended from inside with weapons ports that defend the openings. If you've seen some of the videos on History Underground, they've toured some of these bunkers. We've done it on my own channel. So if there were Germans inside these bunkers, who gives a shit? They're not stopping the invasion. Siege them out. A lot of the bunkers at places like Hillman, which is an artillery control position inland from Sword Beach, even at Pointe du Hoc, essentially the Germans kind of stayed inside, and at some point later on, the next day, they came out and surrendered, because trap them inside. Make them, the Germans, use their defenses to keep them inside. This is just dangerous. You're going into a bunker. There's nothing in there you need. I mean, in the game, you need to kill Germans. But the thing is, you turn a corner in there, you're more likely to be killed than you are kill the enemy there. The enemy have the weapons ports there. So this is as exciting as it all can be. This is just silly. There's no need. You know the guns aren't there. These Germans being alive is not endangering D-Day. Are you getting my point on this, folks? Are you getting what I'm trying to say here? Another point I want to make is, you see it later on when it gets into a bigger complex. Can you imagine just how loud it would be firing inside these bunkers? Even as a tour guide, you're in there with a group of 20-somethings and you're talking quite loudly. Your voice is echoing. I can't imagine how it would be inside there with lots of people firing automatic weapons. It would be absolutely deafening. But this mission our gamer is on right now is all very exciting for the point of view of the game, but you don't need to do it. Why? I'm going to pause it there again. Now I think that's meant to be the observation fire control point at the front of Pointe du Hoc, which if it is, that is where the Germans would be operating the rangefinder and the equipment to control the guns that are in the hedgerow inland. And if they had finished the bunkers, they might have brought them back in and controlled them back at the site again. There's no need for you to endanger yourself as a ranger to fight your way in there and probably get killed until the situation's calmed down. Think about knocking out the guns. Think about holding the road. Hope this is making sense. So this is the approach to the observation bunker. So his weapons port there. How is he getting past that without being killed? How is he getting past? Why have the Germans got the door open? There would be the door shut there with that small opening there. They wouldn't leave it open just so you can fight your way in there. So this is a bit silly. I mean, it looks quite good. This is how the bunker actually looked. See, that's exactly how it was. There wasn't a machine gun behind that weapons port there. That's all authentic. Now, in fact, this one, there was a satchel charge thrown down the doorway by Rangers at some point. And that's correct, the weapons port there. But you're not going to need to fight your way. Now, this room would have had all the plotting tables on it and photos and maps and plans all around the walls of enemy shipping types, the coast all gridded off into some kind of network so you can direct fire. There's nothing in that bunker there. I guess we're coming up to there's too many bunkers below this. There's 3 or 4 rooms below this actual complex above. There's too many here. So it was authentic, and now it's kind of going to fantasy now. He's moved from this to another position. But the lighting is good, the wiring is good, the texture of the poured concrete there is all very good, but if you're doing this, you're going to get yourself killed. You're going to get yourself killed. Bunk beds is good, and so he's somehow made his way back. Now that weapons port would be like this size, and I don't see how you'd get past it. The guy inside could get you with a pistol. So this room, there we are. Where's the bloody rangefinder? This is where the rangefinder, you're talking about an 3-meter wide Swiss-built, probably Zeiss instrument that is designed to do that. Look out there at the fleet and take off all the readings to give to the gunners. There's no rangefinder actually in it. It's defeating the object. There'd be a big rangefinder in that bunker. Then on the top, they would have maybe other men with smaller kind of tripod-mounted rangefinders and just binoculars. But you're not showing the paraphernalia for this being a German gun battery. This is a kind of a fantasy. Well, no, it's kind of okay. The view over to the beach towards Omaha, this is all quite good. The craters are quite good. The bunkers are... I think the layout's a little bit off from reality, but this is generally really quite good. And I think we're going to come to now. His mission accomplished. But the point is, the mission isn't over because they have not as yet, unless I mistook what was going on, they've not actually eliminated the guns and they're not holding the road. So the gameplay mission might have been accomplished, but I don't think the actual reality mission has. But overall, the feeling of Pointe du Hoc was quite good. The layout of the bunkers was quite good, but hopefully you find my ramblings of interest. If you're watching this as a gamer rather than a person interested in history, you'll maybe learning something about the historical side. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to click subscribe, like the videos you watch, and share what we're doing with your friends. Cheers. I'm Paul Woodadge. I will join you again very shortly.